Hello, my name is Julian Volsi, and I'm doing my presentation on the case of State of North Carolina versus Ronald Cotton. I'm sorry for any echo. My room is empty. I'm moving and everything, and working. Blah, blah. So the day of the crime was July 28, 1984. The crime was rape and burglary. The location is Burlington, North Carolina, and it involved the defendant Ronald Cotton, the victim Jennifer Thompson, and the actual assailant Bobby Poole, which we find out he's the actual assailant like 11 years into Ronald Cotton's sentencing. The story I read, like the article I read, was The Perfect Witness by Helen O'Neill, which is from the Death Penalty Information Center, like on that website, but it's written by Helen O'Neill. I'm just gonna kind of paraphrase what I remember from the story. The victim, Jennifer Thompson, was sleeping on her bed in her apartment. Bobby Poole came through with a knife through a sliding glass door, woke the victim up by standing over her, threatened to kill her, raped her, lingered around to steal, then left. During the raping, Thompson her only goal was to memorize everything that she can about the assailant so she can make sure he gets what he deserves. It was a great plan to be in a terrible situation. When it was time for the interrogation and figuring everything out, Thompson was shown pictures, which he immediately was like, yeah, that's my assailant. And then in the lineup, she chose the exact same guy. They went to trial. In the trial, it was basically the witness account, and the jury listened, the judge listened, and all the defendant could do was sing a song, knowing that he didn't commit the crime, but he was going to be convicted anyway. He was a black person also, so in 1984. So there's a little bit of racism, a little bit of prejudice. We find out that 11 years later, Ronald Cotton isn't actually the raper. It was actually Bobby Poole. Jennifer Thompson was notified about this. The reason they found out was a professor was super interested in the case and the fact that somebody was sentenced to life plus 50 years, basically solely off of a witness's recount, which is super unreliable. There was a little piece of foam found at this crime scene that was missing from Cotton's shoe, but that was only circumstantial, so it wasn't enough to really. It was basically off of her account. And since it was 11 years later, there was newer DNA testing technology, so they were able to figure out that it wasn't Cotton, but it was actually Bobby Poole. The story goes on more, like this article talks more, but that's basically the gist of it. Also, Cotton was put up for retrial, where it said that another person said that he wasn't the rapist, but he was still convicted no matter what, even though, which didn't make sense to me. But I would like to talk about the problem of the case. The main problem I saw was the verdict was strictly based off the witness recounts, which is also why the professor really looked into it. It's just what we've learned about the human brain, not just in this class, but just throughout just my career as a student, is especially in cognitive process, I learned that the human mind isn't the best at remembering information. Like if we get a list, we can remember to the max 7 things, and the best things we want to remember the first thing that happened, the last thing. They have to be, which to me shows they have to be substantial. There has to be a substantial thing to it. And like there's so many aspects that play into memory that just basing a sentencing off of somebody's memory, even if it was the victim who went through a terrible thing, I also would say the trauma could have played a role in making her just not able to remember correctly. Also, the witness, another thing I saw is the witness was shown pictures before the lineup, and the article made a note to say that she was a very determined person, very smart, determined, self-confident person. And I feel like seeing the picture and then choosing and then seeing the lineup and the person being in the lineup, like she was gonna, like the commitment effect was, she was prone to it not no matter what, but it was a pretty high chance that she got hit with the commitment effect, which is choosing and then not straying from that idea. I also think that I also believe that the solutions, they should never convict somebody solely off of just a witness's account. That's like the biggest problem of this whole thing. And then they should also try to refrain from showing suspects pictures before the lineup, or if they do, try to alternate lineup, like picture, and then in the lineup that person that they chose is not in the lineup, so they choose, and then until they could whittle it down, kind of like a filtering system. Yeah, but I believe since everything came out properly, like everything turned out okay. I mean, he lost 11 years of his life. I feel like they did a good job, but like these things could have helped him not lose 11 years of his life in jail. Thank you.